Hiya, folks. I've been asked under my last video, by a few different people now about what the community development plan is or the national development plan. So I just said I'd do a video to explain it to you because this is what I think people need to be talking about. This is what I think these puppets should be telling the people about because they, especially the newly elected representatives, they know exactly what's coming because they sit and have their meetings about them at the local authority level. Um, but I'll probably have to do two videos about it because it's a lot to take in one in information. So but I'll just get started. The population is set to grow by approximately 1 million people between 2016 and 2040 here in Ireland. This commenced in October 2020. It's pushing their climate ambitions and they have 165 billion of public investment for the period of 2021 to 2030. The NDP, which is the National Development Plan, is the largest and greenest ever delivered in Ireland, with particular focus on supporting the largest public housing programme. It also focuses on more bus routes, green buses. It's a green transition fund, investment in technological universities, digital transition fund, and national grand challenges programme. I'll get into them more later. It plans to deliver 6,000 homes each year through the Urban Regeneration and Development Fund and the Cree Conata Fund. Because every one of these programs are interconnected, folks. Absolutely every one of them. There's bus connects for Ireland cities, aka there'll be no driving allowed in these cities because they want smart cities. Now, this is what I'm on about. They have 5 towns designated for this. So there's Dublin, Cork, Galway, Limerick, and Waterford, and the Dublin our main focus with this plan. It also links in with the Housing for All, which is we all know anyone but the Irish. All new builds have no fireplaces because that's the green. It's the green way they're going about it. It also supports enterprise development, aka small SME grants, to ensure 660,000 jobs for 2040, and that's where we see all the new people coming into the country getting these grants to set up their businesses, because it's all interconnected. There's 20 projects already completed in this program, which I'll attach here and show you aside now in a second. They're working on airports and ports and replacing military machinery, which that was already done at the end of last year. Um, they're giving grants to sports, cultures, and heritage centres and transport roads because they want everybody within a 15-minute smart city. Uh, The NFP, which is the National Planning Framework, has a 25% population growth for Dublin. Now, they want Dublin the population to grow by 25% in the next couple of years, and it's balanced to recognise its role as a key international and global city or scale as principal economic driver. Now, this is my issue with all them newly elected representatives. Why are they not speaking about this? And they know exactly it's coming because it steeps down to local authority level because they're the one who implement most of the plans in the communities. Um, it's 25% all other cities combined. So that's Cork, Limerick, Galway, Waterford, enabling all four to significantly grow their population and jobs by 50 to 60% and become cities of greater scale, i.e., combined with greater growth rate, twice that of Dublin and twice that of the previous 25 years. I mean, it's shocking what they're planning on doing to these cities, and these are all our main tourist cities as well, folks. They plan on flooding them in with new people and building the like population. It's going to be 25% in Dublin and Limerick, Cork, Galway, and Waterford. Whereas Dublin, they're going to the population in them cities are going to multiply by 50%. Dublin is going to multiply by 25%. The remaining 50% of growth to occur in key regional centres, towns, villages, and rural areas, as determined in the Regional, Spatial, and Economic Strategies, which is the RSES, local authority development plans. Now there you go. That's the proof that these little puppets in the newly elected representatives, they know exactly what's coming, but they're all keeping their mouth shut and keeping people distracted with fucking immigration. Um, the plans that they have completed now is Cork University Hospital. It's the radiation oncology department because they knew by giving people that bioweapon we were going to see a lot more sicker people coming in, getting sick in this country with their safe and effective really meant died suddenly. And now we have rapid onset cancers just coming out on tenfold in this country. You've got the Hook Bio Limited Shannon in County Clare, which is the Disruptive Technology Innovation Fund. 500 million has been allocated through the fund for up to 2027. NUI Galway, which is the NUIG, is working on a project for high throughput microfluid drug screening platform realisation, they're working on the water supply as well in Letterkenny, increase low water supply. Then they've also got the Lewis Cross City, Dublin, which is in Dublin City, because there'll be no driving in these cities anymore. There'll be smart cities, so you'll be either cycling or getting public transport. Cars won't be allowed. Waterford Greenway, 46 kilometres off-road cycling and walking trail along the old railway line between Dungarvan and Waterford City. Grange Gorham development, which is Dublin City, directly used for education and health services, which costs €1 billion. GTOC on Spatial County Galway, that's a digital hub. Funding came from the Rural Regeneration and Development Fund, which is RRDF, and that opened in October 2019, and that cost 847,000. That's to make sure that everyone's connected to the Wi-Fi and connected to 5G, and we're all just connected digitally. Lord Edward Street social house in Limerick City, that cost 19.6 million. Coláiste Caran Athlone, that's a new 1,000 student post primary school. It facilitates for a 2 classroom special education needs suite at the school, where they're talking about being inclusive, but to be honest, I don't think it's fair where they're putting children with special needs alongside children who are physically able to do everything. And these children, I just don't think it's right. I don't think these children should be having to watch children do things that they're not able to do, but this is what they're doing under the name of inclusivity. I mean, I just think that's going to be serious damage to the mental health, which we already know is struggling in this country. But this contributes to the green agenda, climate action agenda, through provision of modern, energy efficient school building. They're also planning on bringing in an extra carbon tax allocation, and that programme for government committed to gradually rising carbon tax over the next decade to reach 100 a tonne by 2030. This was given legislative base in 2020. They reckon this tax will acquire 9.5 billion in additional revenue, 1.5 billion of additional current funding for this is going to go to the Common Agriculture Policy, which is a new scheme to incentivise farmers to farm in a green and more sustainable way. But a lot of farmers took this payment. A lot of farmers took that payment. The Department of Public Expenditure and Reform is a full programme of works of the Public Spending Code to ensure it's compatible with government's enhanced climate ambition. First instance will be significantly increasing the cost associated with any release of additional greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So they're just going to raise the prices of absolutely everything. Their aim is to reduce emissions by 51% by 2030. This falls under the Climate Action Plan and National Mitigation Plan, because it's all in every one of these programs are interlinked, folks. The Department of Public Expenditure and Reform has commenced work with the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, which is the OECD, and it's funded by no other than the EU Commission through the DG Reform Technical Support Instrument. The purpose of the NDP is to set out capital spending levels and priorities over the next decade, being developed as a plan that demonstrates the government's unequivocal commitment to securing a sustainable Ireland. Because fuck the Irish people, we just need to follow our leaders in the UN and the EU. The ski dimensions identified by five key dimensions, dimensions identified by the OECD are: invest in low carbon resilient electricity systems. Number two is the energy efficient housing as part of compact, resilient and sustainable cities, because you can see ever since 2019, any new houses they build have no fireplaces. They've all got smart meters, because you will own nothing and you will be happy, and you'll have to rely on them for absolutely everything. They do not want the people efficient anymore, or sufficient on ourselves, or being able to rely on ourselves. They want us having to beg them for absolutely everything. Number three is catalysing the shift towards accessibility based mobility systems. Number four is enhancing biodiversity while ensuring a resilient supply of food, because they'll even control the food, because the farmers are after being bought off in this country. Number five is improving resilience of supply chains while accelerating the shift towards circular economic principles. The NDP, which is the National Development Plan, commits to increase the share of renewable energy up to 80% by 2030. NDP commits to its creation of a micro generation support scheme whose primary aim is to incentivize citizens and business to produce and consume their own electricity. They're doing their interconnection with other electricity markets, including the Celtic interconnector to France and further interconnection to the UK, which we know that's already started because they released that statement 2 weeks ago now, I think. I'll have to check. and complemented by the measures such as an investment in energy storage and the rollout of smart meters. And them smart meters are ridiculously high priced. I mean, it's crazy. The NPF explicitly commits to the 50% of the overall national growth, which will be concentrated in the 5 cities, because they're the 5 cities designated to be smart, which is Dublin, Cork, Limerick, Galway, and Waterford. All our tourist cities. With Ireland's large and smaller town, villages, and rural areas accommodating the other 50%. So nowhere's not going to be hit with this programme. Everywhere is going to be hit, but they're really focusing on the Dublin, Cork, Limerick, Galway, and Waterford. And then the rural towns will be hit next. 40% of all new housing will be delivered within the existing build-up areas of cities, towns, and villages on infill or brownfield sites. I'll get more into them later. These have to be achieved by redevelopment and repurposing of sites that can achieve density and consolidation. So that's where it'll come and take your land. Since 2019, all new homes are required to be constructed to meet a nearly zero energy performance rate. So that's no fireplaces, smart meters, etc. You will know nothing and be happy. I'll I'll do more on this later, folks, but this is just the start of what's coming, and none of these parasites are talking about it because they want to keep people uninformed and distracted on immigration, when immigration really is the least of our problems from what these parasites have planned coming to our communities.